live. And so live streaming again, and I'll probably burn maybe half an hour to an hour continuing this exercise live of this Git app application written in F sharp. So I started writing some code, I think like a couple days ago, or maybe it was yesterday, I don't know. And this is basically a functional programming technique. Why is my phone ringing as soon as it's always freaking recruiters. So I started this, I think, yesterday, and basically practicing and at the same time demonstrating functional programming techniques of building, can I say an enterprise application? Well, enterprise, I think, means like internal within a company. This is more of an app. But yeah, so the last session, volume 2, or was it volume 3? I think it was volume 3. I had already had a portal, and I said, well, when you book a ride, a fee needs to be paid, period. And so that resulted in me fleshing out this account domain. And so for these domains, we have account.specification, right, for this account domain. And we also have an account.test. For the specification, we have 2 files, language and operations. Language is kind of the terminology that's used within the account domain. And operations is, well, this is pretty much your type-driven development, in which test-driven development follows right after the type-driven development, in which we take these types and we take these function signatures that we flushed out in our type-driven development, and we basically leverage that or apply it towards our test-driven development methodology, whatever you want to call that thing. So in regards to our operations that we defined for our account domain, we have add payment type, remove payment type, pay, and query history, right? That query history is transaction history. And maybe I should be explicit about that. Control R is rename transaction history, okay? So what now? Well, I think that now that we defined our types, and there's more types to this, right? Because some of this actually went or got promoted to our core library, which is over here. Now that we have that, we probably want to start writing some tests. Kill you. And I think I already added the test frameworks on here: in-unit test adapter, FS unit. So we're good on that part. And this library 1, we're going to call this payment. We're going to call this payment, whatever. I don't know what to call this. We'll call this account. This is our account module. And payment dot, this payment is called account. Okay. And so now what? Well, we want to write some tests. Why is my brackets not showing up? And if I want to use a test attribute, then I need to open up some things. Open in-unit.framework and open FS unit. Okay. Now what? Well, what's the test going to be? Well, I'll tell you. This is going to be add payment. I can't type payment type. And yeah, that's going to be it for right now. Okay. Every test has 4 sections. The fourth section is implicit, but it's going to be a setup, test, and a cleanup. Okay. And I feel like I'm missing something. Setup, test, and verify. And then you do a cleanup. This cleanup is implicit. It's handled by garbage collection. As long as we don't have any static functions or methods in here. Now, false should equal true. And what's this over here? Namespaces cannot consider. Okay, well, we can do something like this. Oh, yeah. Oh, hold up. Make this a module. And if I do Control Shift B, hungry hippos, everything should go green. Okay. And then once everything goes green in our build, then we should be able to write some tests. Okay. So here's our test over here. How many times do I have to drill down? Add payment type right here. So, okay. So remember that in our specification library, we already defined our operations. We defined our terminology or our language. Now what? Well, I'll tell you. When I'm doing test-driven development for a desktop app or a mobile app, all my tests, for the most part, like 95% of my tests, they're going to be view model centric. All right. I'm always targeting the view model because it sits right above the user interface. From that view model, that's going to ultimately invoke operations on my business logic layer. And the result of those operations should mutate a property back on my view model. And I will verify that whatever property that was mutated on my view model that's supposed to reflect the successful, or in this case, if I'm testing for the unsuccessful operation, well, that's what I'm verifying. Okay. So I say let view model equals, and I don't have any view models defined. What is going to be like counts, and well, I mean, I could say something like this: view models dot account, but that's going to be like part of the qualified name, or I could just say account like this. Okay, and so after I say that I'm going to have a view model, then I'm going to say something like view model dot add. Okay, and I know that it's going to be a command property on my view model that I'm going to execute. It's going to be an add command on my view model that I'm going to execute. Okay. In order to execute a add command, in this case, it's add payment type. In order for that to happen, we need to set the payment type, view model dot payment type. Okay. And that view model dot payment type is going to be I mean, we could do whatever, right? In this case, I could say it's going to be Visa. And Okay, now that we said that, what do we do now? Well, we can have view model. Well, come here. We have view. Come on, Willis. We have view model dot added, or we can have view model dot payment types should equal in this case something like this. Yeah, I need to charge my phone. Okay, so that's kind of the structure, the format of the test that that's to basically get flushed out the business logic that I need to implement. I know what I just said made no sense whatsoever because I'm distracted looking at my messages, my email. But this is kind of like the format. We instantiate a view model. We assign a value to the view model's payment type, and then we invoke this add payment type based on the value that we assign to it. And then we just want to verify that another property called payment types should now include that value, right? Sounds good on paper. So how can we accomplish that? Well, I'll tell you. So right now we have an account domain. We added specification. We can add a new library, and we'll call this accounts dot view models. Okay, and this count dot view models will be how did I orchestrate this last time? In our portal, what number do we use? We use 01, okay, which means that the UI project for each domain is going to be 00. So this account.viewModels is going to be consistent with our portal.viewModels, and it's going to have the prefix of 01, okay? Okay, it makes sense. So we go to our accounts, account.viewModels, and well, we put 01, okay? Now, I want to make sure that that just stays 01 in our assembly name, but the way we represent it in our Solution Explorer for the user interface is, well, we want it to fall into order. So we order our projects so that we can read them top down. Okay, now what? Well, I'll tell you. So we have this account.viewModels. This library right here, we're going to call accounts. Okay. And then this account.viewModels, we're going to have this module, and it's going to be called how am I going to do this? Account.viewModels. And we're going to have a type. Yeah, we're going to have a type. We're going to call this accounts. And right now it's going to be empty constructor. Okay. And we're just going to have, what are we going to have? We're going to have a payment types. All right. Is that what we have? We have payment type. Okay. And this is a member of our class. And well, payment type, say with get, and that's going to be, I think it's a lowercase get, and that's going to be in, that has parentheses on it, and that's going to be payment type. Okay, and then we'll have on here a set, and I think that's a lowercase set. Okay, and we have a parameter right here, and then we say payment type. We're going to mutate that with whatever value that's in our setter. Okay, And we say and over here, okay? And well, we probably should say let mutable payment type equal. I wonder if I could say null for right now. And what else? Well, this is supposed to say equal over here. Supposed to say equal over here. Okay. Now what? Well, I'll tell you. So we'll bring that there, and we'll bring that there. So we have our accounts. We have a payment type on here. What else do we need over here? Well, there's an add payment type, and that's a of type I command. Say member x dot add payment type, right? And that's a command. And so that's a delegate command. And that's going to have some delegate plumbing in here, like fun, some wildcard, and it's going to have some type of side effect when we execute that command, because that's what commands do. They invoke side effects, and then we'll also have a can add over here. And for right now, we'll just set that to true. Yeah. Okay, so now what? Well, I'll tell you, we need to reference this. No, come here. We need to focus on you right now. So if I scope to this, we need to reference this view models project to our couple of things, GitRod.core, and we also need to reference our UI logic. Yeah, okay. And something else, we should also reference our account.specification. And I think that's it for right now. Okay, and so we add that. All right, now what, Willis? I'll tell you. This delegate command we need to import. So it should be something like open, and do I just have a UI logic? I do, and is that all I need to do? Well, I spelled delegate wrong. It's supposed to be a T over here. Okay, so now you're being recognized. Okay, everything's happy, hungry hippos. Okay, so then I go back over here and I say, all right, so we have our payment type, right? The payment type, right? We have add payment type, right? And we have add payment type, right? But what we're missing is within F#, we need to basically cast this into a I command. Yes, sir. So we import that as well. There must be order in my house. Okay, there must be order in my house. We do this over here. Yes. Oh. And so we go over here, and now what, Willis? Well, I'll tell you. So let's go back over here. We have add payment type. We call it execute. That looks good over there. Yes, sir. All right. This null is probably going to get us in trouble, right? This null is going to get us in trouble. So we need to figure this out right here, because right now there's no type at all except for type object, which is the default within the type system itself. So what can we do right here? Well, that's going to be related to when we actually execute this logic right here, this is going to dictate the value right here. All right, I'm willing to bet that. So, okay, so what? All right, well, I'll tell you. So in order to handle that right there, what we really need to do is when they execute add payment type, what is really happening? Well, this payment type is really of type, well, payment type. And that is going, we might as well just go ahead and import our account.specification. How do I do this? Accounts.specification.language, okay? And, okay, now what? I'll tell you. So this payment type, like this is going to be really of a string. It's going to be an empty string, right? Because the user interface is basically dictating this view model. All right, it's tightly coupled to this view model. So what happens is when we're displaying this, the payment type is displayed as a string. on the user interface. But this view model needs to take that string and map it into an actual payment type. So, well, a payment type. So how can we accomplish that? Well, I'll tell you. So when we want to execute this add payment type, what we really want to do is we probably want to say, oh, add payment type. And this right here, x dot payment type, this add payment type is really what we need to reference. I'll go to home over here. If we go to our account specification, we go to our language, or we go to our operations, this add payment type we define as a type of operation within our account. And well, we see that it needs to take an account and it needs to take a not validated card type. All right. So this is what we need to conform to, or should I say comply with. This right here. When we add a payment type, we need an account, we need a not validated card type, and we need a, well, that's it for right now. It's going to return us either a validated card type or an error description. Okay, so that's what we need to comply with. So what does that mean? Okay, well, this account, that's the name of the class already. Should I really call this account, or should I rename this to payments? I think this should be renamed to payments. Payment types. All right, well, that was helpful. So if we do that, then over here, this is going to be payment types view model. And okay, now what? Well, we still need to if we go to our operations, we still need an account and a not validated card type. A not validated card type. So what does that mean? Well, we really need not a payment type like Visa, but we need a invalidated card. That's what we need. So that payment type is part of an invalidated card. Okay. So for example, I mean, this could be Visa, right? That's the type. But we have some other things on here. When we're adding a payment type, we also need let mutable card number. Okay. And we need a let mutable security code. Okay. And we need a let mutable expiration. Okay. And that expiration is probably going to be, expiration month and then expiration year. That's usually the format. All right. And all this stuff needs to get converted eventually. Okay. What else? Well, there also needs to be a first name and a last name. Now, one can say that that could be derived from our account value that's to be used in here. but I don't think we should trust that. We should automatically populate the name on the account onto the invalidated card and leave the user the option or the capability to modify that default value. Okay, so say let let's say let holder name equal it's supposed to be mutable, right? So let mutable holder name, and same thing here. Okay. So you have your holder name, you have your card number, security code, expiration month, expiration year, and you have your payment type. So like all this is necessary. All these are the recipe that's required, you know, to generate or to have a valid card. Okay. So when you add a payment type, this add payment type right here, well, this is going to be defined still within our, what did I do wrong? This is going to be defined within our view model still. And so we'll put it over here and we'll just say let, and we'll copy paste inheritance payment type. And this is just going to be unit equals, and it's going to be a unit for right now. Like that. Okay. Now what? Well, I'll tell you. So if we look at this, add payment type, this is when I look at add payment type, is the result still what we want? Well, an error and an exception are two different things. So I think this is still okay. If it returns an error, then we need to process that error. Now, there can be different types of issues for why adding a payment type was not successful. That would be something we need to define in our language, right? And so it's not going to be an error description, but it's going to be a add payment type failure reason or something like that, failure reason. And oh crap, I got to answer this call. Hello. Hey, how's everything going? Okay.